Hi everyone, welcome to today's Quick Cards Inky background video. Do you ever find yourself needing to make a quick card? Then stay tuned. So first of all, I've started out with a piece of white smooth cardstock that I've popped onto my blending mat. Also some blending tools, inks and a little anti-static bag. So first of all, I'm going to dust over my piece of card with my little anti-static bag. I have got 4 distress inks that I would like to ink my background with. So they are, first of all, Villainous Potion, Salvaged Patina, Saltwater Taffy, and then the last ink that I'm going to use is my prize ribbon. So to start my inking, I am going to pop my first colour, which I choose is the prize ribbon, and I will work my way in from the side of my blending mat, and you will see me doing circular motions across the page. Now I go over this a few times, adding extra ink as I go along, just until I get the desired effect. So here you can see I am now adding in my Villainous Potion, which I blend into my previous colour, which is the prize ribbon, and I pop across a few times to my ink pad just to get the correct amount of ink and the desired look that I am after. So I'm just finishing off using my Villainous Potion, and next I take the Salvaged Patina and work that in, again going around in circular motions, and I will blend that in with my Villainous Potion. I did find myself going back and forth a number of times to the Salvaged Patina, as the colour was very light compared to the Villainous Potion and the prize ribbon. However, I did finally get the desired look I was after and got the darker shade by going over it a few times. And then the last colour was the Saltwater Taffy, and again I found this very light in colour, so again I went over this a number of times to get a darker effect on the card. So this is the finished background, and I think the colours just work a treat together, going from dark to light. Next I take my new Daler-Rowney fan blender brush, and I've got myself a palette with some water in. So I have popped some water onto my brush, and I just literally splatter the card with water, and I do this a few times, and then I take a little cloth and I blot away the water from the card, and this just creates a lovely mottled effect to my card, and I really love the finished look that I have created by removing the ink with my water. Next I've taken my clear ink and I've stamped a little flower onto my card. I'm then taking my Wow bright white embossing powder and sprinkling it over my ink, and I will just tap off the excess and pop off and get this dried with my heat tool. So this is how my card is looking once I have dried my embossing powder. I've then got this little best of times that I have fussy cut around to create this lovely shape, and I'm going to pop this onto my card using my little glue stick, and I'm going to pop it up to the top left hand corner. I've then taken a piece of black card and I'm just placing my lovely inked background onto the black piece of card. I'm then taking my blank 5x7 inch card and I'm popping my inky background panel down onto my card. So here is my first quick card finished using a combination of distress inks, and how pretty does it look. The colours work absolutely wonderful together, going from dark to light. I absolutely love it, and yeah, I will move to card number 2. So for card number 2 I am using, instead of distress inks, I've got my little IZINK inks, which are quick drying inks. I will pop the colours that I use in my description box below. Okie dokie, so I'm now creating the background on card number 2. However, I am going to speed up my video. Okie dokie, so that's my background done now. So I've now got my fan blender brush and some water, and I'm just going to take my brush and literally do a flicking method which creates little splatters onto my card. Then I am taking my little cloth and I am just dabbing where I have splattered the water, and this removes the ink from the background and creates a little sort of mottled effect and shows a bit more of the white of the card. If I just bring my card in a little closer, there you can see the effect that it creates, and yeah, I really like that. Next I am taking my little anti-static bag and just wiping that over my card. So here I'm just popping my card into my stamping platform. I then take a little floral stamp, which I believe is from a magazine, and I'm just going to stamp that out using some clear ink. Okay, so that is it stamped. It looks a little bit black. I don't know if my ink has got some black on it somehow or another. Then I am taking my Sweet Dixie Midnight Black embossing powder and I sprinkle that over the top. And next I will take it to my heat tool and just get the embossing powder heated up, and then I will be back. Okay, so that is the lovely effect the black embossing powder gives. So here I've got myself a little stamping block and I'm taking some of my inks and I am popping those onto my stamping block, and I've added a little bit of water. I've then got my teeny tiny fine tip paintbrush and I'm going to start colouring in the flowers on the background of my card. So I've chosen 2 colours to colour in the flower. I will leave them in my description box the colours I have used. I thoroughly enjoyed this technique. It is something I've never done before with my inks, but I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to pop you on speed up, and I will be back once I have finished the process of colouring in my lovely stamped image. So this is my background, and how beautiful does that look? It really stands out. The black ink and the lovely coloured flower is really bold and stands out beautifully against the gorgeous inky background. Next, I've popped my background onto a piece of black card, and then I am going to take a little sentiment that says special wishes, which I have taken from a Dovecraft Butterfly Kisses sentiment pack, and I have popped that onto a little piece of black card which I have cut out using my teeny tiny die. And yeah, there you go. There is my finished card, which I have just popped onto a 5x7 inch white blank card. So yeah, that is card number 2, and I really love how this card has turned out. Okay, so for card number 3, I have gone back to using my distress inks, and I will pop you on speed up to show you the colouring in of my background. So here is my finished inky background using my distress inks. So here I've got myself a little homemade smusher. I've just put an old makeup sponge in there, and I've popped some bubble wrap around the sponge and tied it with my little elastic band, and my hope is that the little circles on the bubble wrap will come out onto the card when I use my smoosher with some water. Okay, so here we go, where I just dab the smoosher around my card onto the inks, and hopefully I will get the effect I am after. Then I take my cloth and blot it away. It hasn't quite come out how I imagined it. So what I decided to do next was to add a little bit more water. I left the water on for a short while before I came in with my cloth, just to let the water react with the inks, and to be honest, it started to lift the ink from the card without me having to dab with my cloth. But I then went in with my cloth. Although I didn't quite get the desired look I was after, I absolutely love the result that the smoosher has given. I really love it. So now on to a little bit of stamping. I have actually stamped onto my inky background, although you can't see it. I've used my clear ink. I'm now taking my Midnight Black embossing powder, and I'm just going to sprinkle this over the top. So that is the embossing powder all dry now, and to finish my card I stamped out a little sentiment that says "just to say" onto some white card, and then I embossed it with my black embossing powder. I fussy cut it out and stuck it to the top of my card. I've then popped my inky background onto a piece of black card. Then I took my 5 by 7 inch card blank and stuck the panel onto the top of my card blank, and yeah, and that's my final card finished using inky backgrounds. So here are my 3 finished cards, and I'm really loving these. For the first one I inked the background kind of going across the card with my distress inks. I then stamped this lovely little flower and embossed it with some white embossing powder. Then I fussy cut a little sentiment, "the best of times," and layered that onto some black card. And I forgot there, I did my little splatters with my water and my fan blending brush. And then for this card I kind of went around the outside of the card and worked my way into the middle, and then for the middle piece I kind of went up and down and popped my splatters on with my water again. I then stamped this gorgeous floral image in the center of the card, and I embossed it using my black embossing powder. And then to color the flower in, I've used some of my inks, and this is a technique I have never done before, and I really love this. I think it is very bold and really stands out. Then I pop my special wishes sentiment at the top and layered again my inky background onto a black panel and then onto my white card. And for my third and final card I created this background with my distress inks, the same colours as I used on my first card. I stamped this lovely flower with the little butterfly. I used a homemade smoosher to create my splatters on the background, and I stamped out a little "just to say" sentiment and fussy cut that out again. I layered it onto a black panel and popped it onto my 5 by 7 inch card blank. And yeah, there you go. There are my quick cards using inky backgrounds, and I hope you have enjoyed my video. Would you please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment? I would really love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It is absolutely free to do so, and also hit on that notification bell and you will be notified when I upload a new video. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you ever so much for joining me. I will be back again very soon with another video. In the meantime, happy crafting, have a wonderful day, take care, see you soon, and bye bye for now.